Look, nobody's talking about what's really happening with Bichette right now, and that needs to change. We're sitting here in January 2026, watching one of baseball's most talented shortstops remain unsigned, and the conventional wisdom is completely missing the point. Jeff Passan just dropped some insight that changes everything we thought we knew about this situation. What's actually going on here? Bichette isn't scrambling for offers. He's not watching his market collapse. This is something completely different, and it might be the smartest play we've seen in years. The Blue Jays' former franchise cornerstone is sitting in limbo alongside Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman, three elite players who are fundamentally reshaping how we think about free agency timing and contract structure. Passan laid it out pretty clearly. These guys believe they're worth more than teams are offering right now. That's not arrogance, that's market analysis. Bichette just put together an exceptional 2025 season. He slashed .311, .357, .483 with 18 home runs and 94 RBIs across 139 games. He led the American League in hits for the second time in his career. The man played through a knee injury and still delivered a clutch Game 7 World Series home run when everything was on the line. This isn't someone whose value is declining. Here's what makes this fascinating. The traditional model says you cash in immediately when you hit free agency. Get that long-term security, lock in generational wealth, move on with your life. But that model assumes teams are willing to pay fair market value for your prime years, and right now, they're not. Teams want championship-caliber talent at discount prices with long-term control. Elite players want compensation that reflects their actual production. Something's got to give. The waiting game favors players with confidence in their abilities. Teams are getting anxious because their championship windows don't pause for contract negotiations. Players with legitimate star power can afford to wait, because demand doesn't disappear just because it's January instead of December. Bichette fits that category perfectly. His skill set doesn't vanish overnight. Now, let me tell you about Pete Alonso, because this is where everything clicks into place. Last February, Alonso faced almost the identical situation. Coming off a down 2024, teams weren't meeting his asking price. So what did he do? He signed a strategic 2-year, $54 million deal with the Mets. One dominant season later, posting a 2.72, 3.47, 524 line with 38 homers and 126 RBIs, he cashed in with a 5-year, $155 million contract from the Orioles this past December. The short-term bet paid off spectacularly. Passan specifically mentioned Bichette as the ideal candidate to replicate this approach. If that sort of deal would work for anyone, it might be Bichette, who could have a big year, show he's healthy, and hit the market again at 28 years old. Think about what that means. Bichette would play 2026 at age 27, post another elite season proving his knee is fine and his production is sustainable, then hit free agency at 28 with zero lingering concerns and fresh evidence of excellence. The upside potential massively outweighs the short-term risk. What does Bichette bring to the table that makes this strategy viable? Elite contact skills, proven by leading the AL in hits twice. Premium defensive position that provides roster flexibility, proven postseason performance when the stakes are highest. These aren't fluky attributes that disappear randomly. One strong season at 27 sets him up for a payday that would dwarf anything currently on the table. That's not gambling, that's calculated risk management. For the Blue Jays, this creates possibilities nobody's discussing publicly. If Bichette signs a short-term deal with high average annual value, Toronto gets their emotional leader back without sacrificing long-term financial flexibility. They've already committed massive money to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s extension and Dylan Cease's contract. Adding Bichette on a 1- or 2-year structure keeps the door wide open for pursuing Kyle Tucker while maintaining championship-caliber roster depth across multiple positions. Multiple teams recognize Bichette's value right now. The Red Sox see him as their ideal fallback if Alex Bregman goes elsewhere. The Giants desperately need middle infield production. The Yankees could upgrade multiple positions with one signing. The Dodgers never stop looking for ways to get better. The Mariners just lost Jorge Polanco and have a hole to fill. Demand exists across baseball. The only question is contract structure and annual value. This approach actually benefits baseball's competitive balance when you think about it. Short-term deals keep elite stars available more regularly, preventing decade-long roster stagnation where the same teams hoard all the talent. Young players get to learn from proven veterans without organizations drowning in unmovable contracts that cripple future flexibility. Championship windows stay open across multiple seasons instead of slamming shut when bad long-term deals pile up. Everyone wins when flexibility meets elite talent. What we're watching right now is elite players taking control of their own destinies more than any previous generation. Pete Alonso proved the short-term model works when executed properly. Now Bichette, Tucker, and Bregman are deciding whether that blueprint makes strategic sense for their specific situations. Someone will move first, either accepting a shorter deal or finding a team willing to commit long-term at fair value. Based on Passan's reporting and Alonso's recent success, Bichette appears positioned to bet on himself. The Blue Jays face a legitimately interesting decision that could define their championship window. They could bring back the homegrown star on favorable short-term money while maintaining financial flexibility for other moves. They could go all in pursuing Kyle Tucker as their biggest free agent acquisition. They could sign Alex Bregman for veteran leadership and proven October performance. All three scenarios remain possible if Bichette chooses the short-term route. Toronto's championship window stays wide open regardless of which elite bat ends up joining Guerrero in that lineup. The broader point here is that we're witnessing a fundamental shift in how baseball's best players approach free agency. The old model of signing the longest deal available is giving way to strategic thinking about market timing, personal value demonstration, and maintaining